Hello and welcome to News Central TV. My name is Mazino Appeal. Our top stories this hour. Lagos Police Command totally restricts vehicular movement for Saturday's local government elections. And military affirms killing of Plateau State vigilante group members in Kanam local government area. Also coming up, Somali government confirms attack on army training school in Mogadishu by Al-Shabaab terrorists. The details coming up now. The news now. We begin the news in Lagos, where the State Police Command has announced that there will be a total restriction of vehicular movement throughout Lagos State from 3 a.m. on Saturday morning, the 12th of July, till 3 p.m. of the same Saturday, the 12th of July 2025, for the Lagos local government elections. The command, in a post on X on Wednesday, said the restriction of vehicular movement will apply to all roads and waterways within Lagos. The police also listed other details to include prohibition on armed escorts and security and ban on indiscriminate use of sirens and covered number plates. The command said all other vehicles, including those belonging to any quasi-security outfit and state security agencies, are barred from movement, as no state-owned security agency is authorized to participate in the election security operations, in line with the Electoral Act. Now, some opposition political parties earlier this week rejected the signing of a peace accord facilitated by the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission at the Commission's Yaba headquarters due to disagreement with the Commission over registration of some of their candidates. Representatives of the People's Democratic Party, the All Progressives Grand Alliance, and Labour Party were among the people who refused to sign the peace accord. For some more perspective on matters relating to Saturday's local government elections, we're joined in the studio here by John Akanho, Labour Party candidate in Etiosa local government area. Mr. John, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So it's very strange what we're hearing about the peace accord not being signed by a couple of the parties, APGA, PDP, and LP, your party.
Yes.
Can you please give us, maybe start by giving us an idea into what's happening there?
Okay, so according to what is happening, you know, some people have a little challenge in their documentation. And I can say that LASEC, they have actually tried, but they can do more better as regards to the little issues that happens where other parties were being delayed of accreditation.
Can we get some specifics regarding these processes that the LP are unhappy with, which has led to the non-signing of the peace accord? Okay,
so some of us were not attended to on time, and that really triggers the hunger that makes some people were not happy with the whole situation. But I think LASEC have tried to find a way around it and resolve the matter.
All right. But so far, would you say you're satisfied with the efforts of LASEC itself thus far?
Let me say a little bit satisfied, but not 100%. So they can do better.
Okay. So we note that almost all the parties are going into this election a bit fractured in some way or the other regarding their candidates. So what does this say about democracy in general when we take a look at it in a unit basis when it comes to the different parties and the candidates they've put forward for these elections?
Okay, for the election so far,
the processes leading up to it regarding the individual parties and them presenting their candidates, what we're noting is that there is a bit of fractionalization in every single party, whether we like it or not. There's a bit of dispute regarding the candidates they're putting forward. So what does that say for democracy in general as we lead up to the elections?
Okay, so in that aspect, I think in the area of that, in the area of democracy, they should allow people to have their own choice, to have every party candidates that want to run to run for the elections. And just like I said, I've actually been appealing to LASEC to make sure that this election that is coming July 12th, which is this week, Saturday, should go free and fair. Should be a free and fair election.
Okay.
Shouldn't be any disparity between a party or no party. We want it to be, let it be a free and fair election.
Okay. To be clear, your party doesn't have any of those problems now, does it, when it comes to the candidate being put forward?
Some have little challenge, and I think it's being handled by the chairman and the secretary of the party.
So do you see that the efforts that are being put together for the Saturday elections, would you say it's going to be leading up to a free and fair election? Okay, do you have faith in the process?
Yes. The processes I'm seeing is not looking like it.
It's not
looking like it, but like I said, I'm appealing to LASEC to make the election a free and fair election.
What specifically picks your...
In the sense of where the polling units have not been fully given to people now, where they've not actually given out people where the materials is going to be distributed and all that. So, and some candidates are still there trying to sort one or two things, and the election is just this week.
Okay. Well, Mr. Kano, thank you very much for giving your 2 pence regarding the elections upcoming on Saturday, and we do hope that we see a free and fair elections like you have just noted.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, we will return to the conversation on the local government elections coming up this Saturday in Lagos. But in the meantime, let's take a detour to nearby Oyo State. Now, a fire outbreak engulfed 5 shops beside the Olowo Ifon shopping complex, Orita Challenge, Ibadan, in the early hours of Wednesday. The fire, which started at about 2:24 a.m., was said to have been triggered by an electrical surge ignited by flammable material, with no casualty recorded. Firefighters responded swiftly, preventing the blaze from spreading to the rest of the complex and saving properties worth millions. Chairman of the Oyo State Fire Service, Maruf Akinwande, urged residents and business owners to prioritize fire safety and adopt fire safety precautions. Now, still in Ibadan, some residents of the ancient city are expressing the desire for younger individuals to be considered for the position of Olubadan, the traditional ruler of Ibadan land. They say the current system of ascension to the throne often results in older individuals occupying the stool. News Central's Victor Mbadike filed in this report after a trip to Ibadan.
The silence is deafening here at the Olubadan Palace, clearly as a sign of respect to the late Oba Owolabi Olakuleyi, who passed away on Monday at the age of 90, having just ascended the throne 12 months ago after waiting for over 40 years for his turn. Friends, families, and well-wishers are still paying their condolences at his private home.
It was a great shock to me because we are already preparing for his birthday, which I thought we are going to celebrate it massively. To my surprise, even though the guy I paid billboard to sent me the video that he was about to do the installation on Monday, while we had the sudden dismiss of our father.
With Ibadan having witnessed the demise of 4 Olubadans in 10 years, some residents hope their kings will rather live longer. They are also optimistic that the new king will stay longer on throne and do much better.
Senator Ladoja now is a nice man. He wishes Ibadan very, very well when he was a governor, and I hope he will still continue about it.
I support him because it's his turn now to enter the throne. I wish him one long stay in the throne, in the
office.
Olubadan is a good man because by the time when they do governor for this state, he do very well. So, somebody elected from Bansi, okay.
In Oba Rashidi Ladoja's residence, the atmosphere tells the story. In just a matter of weeks, it will be the turn of the family to ascend the much revered steeple.
All things being equal, the 44th Olubadan of Ibadan land, Senator Rashidi Ladoja, will be crowned as soon as the Olubadan Council approve his eligibility, and of course confirmed or approved again by the state government led by Sheyi Makinde. Like they always say in Yoruba land, may the reign of the Oba be peaceful and may it be a success in Ibadan. For News Central, Victor Mbadike.
Now returning to a previous story where we told that the Lagos State Police Command has totally restricted vehicular movement for Saturday's local government elections here in Lagos State. And joining us now in the studio is Benjamin Hundein, the Police Public Relations Officer of Lagos State. You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Good to have you here. So let's talk about the preparations the police is making or are making for Saturday. We've heard the restrictions on vehicular movements. If you would please give us more detail regarding these vehicles that are being restricted or who exactly is allowed to move on Saturday for the local government elections.
Thank you very much. So earlier today, this morning, we issued a statement detailing what the restriction of movement would actually entail. And what it really means is that there will be total restriction of movement for people on the roads and on the waterways. But there are certain exemptions, and that's the LASEC officials, election observers, and essential workers like ambulances, fire trucks, and the police and security agencies. Also, for some other categories of people, maybe telecom operators who are going to fix a mast that is broken down, yes, for such people, there would be identification tags already prepared for that kind of purpose. So apart from this category of people, there will be no movement allowed.
It was very ambiguous when it regarded press, so we're wondering, are press also allowed to move around?
Yes. Gentlemen of the press are allowed as long as they have their identification tag specifically issued for this election.
Okay, very interesting. So many people heard or saw the circular on the X page for the Nigerian Police Force, read through it and everything, but people still think that it's going to still be the same game as usual. The elections are going to come, the police might be out there, but it's still going to happen like it's always happened. People have queried previous elections and said whoever wants to win will win. There might be violence here or there. It's just going to happen. There's a sense of despondency when it comes to the general overview for citizens of Lagos State. What do you have to say regarding that?
It's quite okay if we have pockets of doubts here and there, but we are here to say that we've perfected our plans, and we've met with LASEC and other security agencies. We've also got additional police officers from outside Lagos State to show up the numbers, and we have taken cognizance of every single polling unit. So we can assure Lagosians that security has been fully emplaced. This is Wednesday, that's like 3 days to the elections, and already we have perfected our plans. And it's so robust that we are not even withdrawing our deployment immediately after the election. They'll still be there. So we're talking about pre-election, election, and post-election. So people have no reason to fear. Things will go fine. There will be peace, and we'll try our best to ensure that the elections are credible.
So you spoke about other security agencies. What sister agencies are being consulted when it comes to security for Saturday? Okay,
so for this Saturday elections, we are using, or we are collaborating with just federal security agencies, federal government-owned security agencies. So state-owned security agencies will not be allowed to participate in the election. They will also not be allowed to move around on that day. The restriction of movements also is binding on them. So just federal government security agencies.
When it comes to the matter of prohibition of escorts, armed escorts to polling units, what's that like? What's that going to be like? Would it just be restricted within the state or for other polling units outside?
Okay, so it's also included in our statement. We do not want firearms around the polling units. So even the police officers that will be posted to the polling units are not armed, and VIPs that will be coming to cast their votes are not allowed to come with armed officers. So that's the conclusion we have reached at our last ICES meeting. ICES is the Interconsultative Committee on Election Security. So at the last meeting, that was the conclusion. So it will not be allowed.
Okay. Then there's the matter of the signing of the peace agreement within the parties. Does it disturb you that some parties are yet to sign this or did not sign this when this was presented to them today?
Well, this is not, it is not exactly a requirement for vying for any position. It's just something that you do to show good faith. So if some parties do not sign it, well, it's a bit worrisome, but that would not deter us from ensuring that there's total peace. In our statement, we made it clear that any politician or contestant who does not rein in on his supporters and dissuade them from engaging in violence, such thugs or anybody who goes against the law will definitely be promptly arrested and will be prosecuted. So peace pact or not, the full extent of the law will be deployed for the election.
I'm afraid I must ask this. Now, in previous elections, we've seen situations where there are security agents at polling units, but still you find thugs, in quote, in these polling units performing nefarious activities, scaring people away or, even harming people. How would this be addressed come Saturday election?
For this election, we have set up a control room. In that control room, we have the police and other sister security agencies. We have a representative from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Civil Defense, the DSS. So it's a joint control room. And that's to ensure that we monitor the entire length and breadth of the state. So we already anticipate, or we are prepared. Let me not say anticipate, we are prepared, because we've also studied previous outings, our previous outings during election security. So we know the things that would happen, and we are prepared for that. So in the event that thugs come up to want to disrupt the elections, yes, we have backup teams that will be responding. I can quickly add that the Inspector General of Police approved the deployment of additional 8,000 police officers to Lagos State to complement the number we have here. So we have a good number of police officers, and they will be deployed. We are doing 4 security personnel per polling unit, 4. So if it happens, we can assure you that we have a backup team to respond swiftly.
All right. Okay. Well, very interesting there. I'm still wondering what responsibilities individuals have when they meet these kinds of instances at these polling units. How do they respond? What authorities do they send their messages to, if they have to?
Yeah, it's quite interesting because we have representatives, party agents for all of the parties there. They are also part of the IPAC, Inter-Party Advisory Council. They've had a series of meetings with us, so they know the numbers to call, the party agents in particular. And for other voters, Nigerians that are there and would see something and would like to call our attention and say something, also in our statement this morning, we issued the control room numbers. And not to forget that the short code 767 still works in Lagos State in particular.
767?
Yes, that short code works. And you can always reach out to us in case of an emergency.
All right. Well, Benjamin, it's great to have you here. But then again, there is that issue about the gang violence in Mushi. I was wondering if you could give us a straight-up update right now about what's happened. We gather that one person was killed. Am I correct?
Yes, sometime last week on Wednesday, yes. A child was killed. Following that, a raid was carried out in Mushi, and after background investigation, we were able to locate some of these miscreants, and a raid was carried out. 52 persons were arrested, 52 suspects. So we did further investigation on them, and the culpable ones have already been arraigned. As I speak to you, they've been arraigned. And this continuous work we're doing in Mushi to ensure that we rid that area totally of crime, criminality, especially cultism.
No. Benjamin Hundeyi, Police Public Relations Officer, thank you very much for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me on the program today.
You're welcome. Now, let's go on a break. When we come back, teachers in the FCT return to classrooms after months on strike. We'll bring you the details if you stay with us. Hi, welcome back. Off to the FCT now. There is a major sigh of relief across public primary schools in the Federal Capital Territory as striking teachers under the local education authority have returned to their classrooms. The suspension of the industrial action was confirmed to News Central by an executive member of the striking Nigeria Union of Teachers, FCT chapter. They revealed that the move follows the intervention by FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, which saw to the payment of their June salaries, now reflecting the new national minimum wage of 70,000 naira. Though 9 months arrears remain unpaid, the union says the expected inflow gives room for a temporary suspension of the strike.
FCT is not weak.
Still in Abuja, as critical issues continue to dominate discussions at the ongoing National Assembly Open Week, female lawmakers, advocacy groups, and gender rights activists are calling for increased support for the passage of the Special Seats Bill for Women in the National Assembly. They emphasize that with women making up nearly half of Nigeria's population, the time has come to change the narrative of underrepresentation, saying that the ongoing constitutional review presents a timely opportunity to address the imbalance. The advocates also urged state governors and state houses of assembly to back the bill, insisted that women lawmakers will contribute robust, inclusive, and participatory legislation for national development. The Special Military Task Force in charge of maintaining peace in Plateau State, otherwise known as Operation Safe Haven, has confirmed that vigilantes were indeed killed in last Sunday's ambush by bandits in Kanam local government area of the state. The spokesman for the task force, Major Samson Zakom, made the disclosure in a statement on Wednesday. The statement warned vigilante groups against conducting unauthorized operations without prior coordination with security forces and emphasized that independent action without OPSH approval endangers both the operators and innocent civilians. The statement put the number of those killed at 8, contrary to earlier reports that up to as many as 70 vigilantes were killed. Now the news continues in Edo State, where as part of efforts to boost food production and economic inclusion, the First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has extended agricultural support to women and youth across Edo State. Under the Renewed Hope initiative, beneficiaries from the 18 local government areas received tools to strengthen household and commercial farming. News Central's Amanze Bazwaye reports from Benin City.
The distribution, which took place at the new festival hall in Government House, Benin City, was supervised by the coordinator, Office of the First Lady, Edo State, Edesili Okweolu Anani. She said the state governor has made significant contributions to the agricultural sector to ensure Edo remains an agricultural hub for food sufficiency and security.
The initiative is to encourage women and the youth in farming, in agriculture, in production, in entrepreneurship, and as well, it increases the GDP of our nation.
This campaign is not about planting seeds in soil. It is about planting seeds of sustainability, health, and dignity in the heart of our people. Farming today is not when you have a big land. You can be planting things in your house if you do well.
Farmers, particularly our women and youth, will be economically empowered, and food security in the state will be guaranteed.
The state government, we are presenting this to you. And just as she said, we know you will bring 1,000 food of these.
Beneficiaries received poultry chicks, improved seedlings, farm implements, seeds, fertilizers, and cash grants as part of a broad agricultural intervention. The initiative targeted groups such as women in agriculture, youths in agriculture, and the Younger Farmers Club. It also launched a statewide farming competition under the Every Home a Garden program with cash prizes for outstanding home and school gardens.
As it is now, I'm going to rear them to like 4 weeks or 6 weeks, and I'm going to sell them out. Imagine me getting this day old and selling them out at 6 weeks for like 5,000 naira per bird. I'm going to sell like 24. You can see I'm a millionaire.
I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I can use this item in my farm if I get bigger.
Having crops in your environment will make you less hungry. E.g. like fruits. When you have fruits in your environment, when you're hungry and there's no food around you, or you can't rush to the market, you can quickly get some fruits around you to eat, to have some energy before you can get to the market.
With tools in hand and support on the ground, women and youth farmers in Edo State are being positioned to drive food production, build agri-businesses, and ensure greater food security. In Edo State, for News Central, Ameze Bazwaye.
Coming up, President Ruto warns of sponsored chaos to overthrow government. We'll tell you more after the break. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Now, an Al-Shabaab suicide bomber attacked a military academy in the Somali capital, Mogadishu, on Wednesday. Growing attacks by the Al-Qaeda-linked group, including one on President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud's convoy, have fueled concerns of a jihadist resurgence in the Horn of Africa nation after the militants were forced back in recent years. The short statement did not provide any further details about the assault, which happened shortly after midday, but said that security forces were investigating. There are no further details of potential casualties. In Kenya, President William Ruto has warned against what he calls attempts to overthrow his government through unconstitutional means. Speaking on Wednesday, Ruto claimed that recent violent protests were sponsored efforts to incite chaos and destabilize the country ahead of the 2027 elections. In his words, they want to organize protests, burn property, and bring disaster so as to overthrow the government. The remarks come after weeks of unrest across Kenya, sparked by public anger over rising living costs and proposed tax hike. Ruto urged citizens to reject violence and support peace, insisting his government remains stable and in control.
I want to tell those characters, the ones who are telling us, giving us lectures, that they can change this administration using unlawful, using violence, using unlawful means before 2027. Let them try. And we are going to use whatever means that is available to make sure that we stabilize the country. We cannot accept mayhem and anarchy to destroy the development we have in this country.
The former Minister of Justice of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Constant Mutamba, on Thursday appeared in court in Kinshasa, the country's capital, at the start of the trial. Mutamba was accused of embezzling public funds to the tune of nearly $20 million. Mutamba says he is innocent. Mutamba, who was minister, called for corrupt officials to be punished with the death penalty, stepped down after prosecutors asked Parliament to authorize a probe into allegations he misappropriated funds for a $40 million prison in the northeastern city of Kinshasa.
Capitale de la République démocratique du Congo, le 16 avril 2025, étant ministre d'État, ministre de la Justice et garde des Sceaux, détourner la somme de 19 900 000 $ américains.
Le ministère public est dans son rôle. Ne soyons pas pressés, vous verrez la ligne de la défense de Constant Mutamba, qui, je puis vous le dire, est innocent de toute accusation de détournement de fonds. Constant Mutamba n'a pas détourné de fonds publics et nous aurons l'occasion de le démontrer devant la Cour de cassation.
Now we go to Washington, where we have visuals of President Trump as he hosts 5 African leaders.
They're building their own plant. You heard me say yesterday, they're building their own electric generating plants to go along with the factories or plants that they're building. If they want to do that, we're getting them fast approvals, very fast turnarounds. They're using mostly natural gas to start off, but they're using coal. They have the right to use coal. They have the right to use nuclear. Nuclear has come a long way in the last 5 years. So we're getting them very fast approvals. We have factories and plants building at a level that we've never had in this country before. Yeah.
And secondly, a study from the Council of Economic Advisors. You put it on Truth Social yesterday. It showed that your assessment that tariffs would slow inflation was accurate and that the prices of imported has fallen. That your assessment was right, the critics were wrong. Why do so-called experts continually misread your economic policies, sir?
Well, it's not the experts, it's the fake news and a combination of that and the Democrats. I saw an ad on television today on Fox, and it was some ad about, oh, Trump has raised costs. It's the opposite. I actually put out a statement. I brought down costs. I brought down the cost of groceries. I brought down the cost of this, and they were just a short time ago. That was caused by Biden and stupid policy. Now it's actually even at a lower price. So when I see an ad like that, it's always good to respond. I feel you have to respond. It was an ad that things are more costly. No, they're much less costly. Yesterday, $1.99 a gallon. There's 3 states were selling gasoline at $1.99. You haven't seen that for a long time. And I brought costs way down. Just about every cost. I can't think of a cost that went up, but just about every cost. So what they do is they lie. I mean, they take ads. You'd almost think that the advertising station would stop it because they know it's wrong. It's such a lie. All you can do is say it's a lie and explain it. I guess I have the ability to explain it at conferences like this, so I like to take advantage of it and do it. But costs are substantially down under the Trump administration. And as you know, Biden had the highest inflation, I believe, in the history of our country. They say 48 years, but regardless, I think it was really the highest in the history of our country. And they were up to numbers that nobody ever saw before. And we have inflation now totally under control. We have a Fed chairman that if he was doing his job properly would lower interest rates, but we're bullying through even that. We're doing so well, it's not having that kind of an impact on us. But you want to see a rocket ship? We should have the lowest interest rates, because without us, there's nothing. And we have a strong country now, and we're taking in a lot of money. And other countries aren't even complaining. They got away with murder. They took advantage of a lot of very stupid people that sat in this seat. Very stupid people, or people that didn't understand business or something was going on. But hard to believe that they got away with it for so many years. But now, and I'm treating them very fairly. Again, we have countries with tremendous deficits with us, where we have, where we essentially lose a lot of money. And we are changing that around very rapidly. And I think it's about time somebody did it. Yeah, please.
So yesterday, you said that you were not sure who ordered the munitions halted to Ukraine. Have you since been able to figure that out?
Well, I haven't thought about it because we're looking at Ukraine right now and munitions, but I have not gone into it.
What does it say that such a big decision could be made inside your government without you knowing?
I would know. If a decision was made, I will know. I'll be the first to know. In fact, most likely I'd give the order, but I haven't done that yet. Yeah, please.
Netanyahu went over the last couple of days, and how realistic do you think a ceasefire is this week?
Well, we're talking about Gaza for the most part. I think we have a chance this week or next week. Not definitely. We all deal with so much, but there's a very good chance that
countries having access to the US market. And that's beyond it.
Well, we'll take a look at that. Yes, please.
Thank you. That's we know that program's been in place. A lot of other countries operating in Africa. In Africa, so I think anything.
In Alvarado, Texas, allegedly set off fireworks outside an ICE office.
Yeah.
They had guns and vests and two-way radios. Do you think that a left-wing militia that is targeting?
Making it available to these people, because you look at the guns they had, they were brand out of some military shop. People that,
Welcome back from Washington. Now let's do sports. The Super Falcons of Nigeria held a training session on Tuesday evening at the Wellness Center of Olad Salah as they prepare for their second Group B match against Botswana at the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Following a convincing 3-0 win over Tunisia in their opener, the 9-time champions are focused on maintaining momentum in their quest to reclaim the continental crown. Our sports correspondent, Onyechi Obara, tells us more about preparations, mood ahead of the games.
Performance in the opener of the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations match against Tunisia. All players are in good condition, according to reports we get and what we can see in training right now. The Super Falcons of Nigeria returned to the recovery ground ahead of their second Group B match against Botswana at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations. Tuesday's light training session took place at the Wellness Center in Ola Sala in Casablanca. With only the opening minutes accessible to the media. Following their 3-0 victory over Tunisia, Nigeria topped Group B and will look to maintain momentum when they face Botswana on Thursday. 6-time African Player of the Year Sisato Shwala, who scored in the opening game, remains optimistic about the team's chances.
Same energy, same thing going into the game against Botswana. We need 3 points, obviously, to pull us through to the next round. We're going to approach the game the same way we approached the first one against Tunisia, going there to hunt for 3 points and getting off goals to get us to the next round.
We are building up, we are training, preparing for the next game. I don't see any team as a challenge because every team that come here, they are very good. So there's no pushover team. We don't need to underrate any team. So we just keep going. Also showing support is Nigeria Football Federation Executive Member Aisha Falude, encouraging the squad despite the low turnout of fans at this year's tournament.
You know, when you have been on the big stage for a long time, such things don't bother you. What bothers you is getting the job done, getting the result, and waiting for the next game. The fans are just there to add color, to add glamour, to add ambience to the atmosphere. That's what they are for, and they are good for football. But in terms of dictating on or impacting on the quality of the play, they do not have that value. The value for the players is really the result, and that is what we should be focused on. Now that you have a mission, it's even more compelling for you to deliver. A Mission X is not a slogan. It is a call to duty. It is a national call. It is a call that every Nigerian is expecting the team to bring the result home. You get them or they get you. The Super Falcons cannot lead from behind. They used to have a commanding presence on the African soil for women's football. They have to reclaim that title and dominate again. They understand that. The competition is stiff. and they must work very hard. I said the only team that can stand against the Super Falcons for achieving Mission X is the Super Falcons themselves. How hungry are they for Mission X?
Botswana lost in the hands of Algeria, but they will be up against 9-time African champions who are on Mission X for their second game in Group B of the Women's African Cup of Nations. The Super Falcons here say they are not letting any stone unturned. They are dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and making sure that the same performance, that they even double that performance against Botswana. They're not underrating any team, and we're hoping that they can also do something beautiful like they did in the opener to further solidify their Mission X campaign. Onyinyechi Obaro for News Central in Morocco.
We'll now go on a short break. But when we come back, we will be speaking with News Central sports correspondent Onyinyechi Obaro herself. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and it's still sports. Like we said from before, the Super Falcons of Nigeria held their pre-match press conference at the Labi Zoli Stadium ahead of their Matchday 2 clash against Botswana on Thursday. And coach Justin Badugu, and goalkeeper Chiamaka Nadozie addressed the media as the Falcons aim to maintain momentum following their convincing 3-0 victory over Tunisia. We're being joined right now by News Central sports correspondent Onyinyechi Obaro from Casablanca itself. Unfortunately, I think we might have lost her due to bad network. We will try to bring that report as a report for subsequent bulletins, so do stay here on News Central. But for now, that's all this hour. Before we go, however, let's let you know some of the major stories that we brought your way. Lagos Police Command has totally restricted vehicular movement for Saturday's local government elections. And military has affirmed killing of Plateau State vigilantes in Kanam local government area. We also told you that Somali government has confirmed attacks on army training school in Mogadishu by Al-Shabaab terrorists. Now do remember, you can send your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on your screens now. And do follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.